the whole model is done now, and we've got corrosion down in all of these creases and in every little crevice where water might sit. Now the next step that we need to do is we're going to do a second layer of corrosion, where our base layer is a very dark brown, and you can see it, I'm sure, fairly well in the video at this point. Once it dries, it lightens up a little bit. The second layer, the more pervasive corrosion, the big chunky stuff that you see on you know, a 55-gallon drum if it's been sitting outside for forever. We're going to use this other color called Sanguine, and it's a bright reddish orange. Now, since we've already done the application with alcohol pigment mix, we want to just sort of dab at this one, and we're not going to get the right effect if we do anything other than just dry application for this one. So what I'm going to do is set this off here. I'm just going to dump a little bit of this out into our little tray here and get some on the brush. This stuff is really bright. We don't want to overdo it too much here, but we want to get enough on there to look good. So we're going to pick some areas like right up in here, and we're really going to work hard to get it really embedded down in those cracks. Okay. All right. Let's get some on these rivets back here. Maybe a little on the guns. Okay. So I think you guys are getting the idea now. So I'm going to go ahead and do this on the entire tank, and we'll be back in a second. We've got the orange put down now, and I think it looks okay right now, but it's a little on the intense side. So what we need to do is really tone it down a little bit by adding the alcohol on top of what we've just done here. That's going to do two things. It's going to help us tone it down, but it's also going to seal it down like we discussed earlier. So I'm just going to take a brush, start, we're not going to do a whole lot of pushing or rubbing or anything like that. We don't want to move this around too much. We're just going to sort of dab the alcohol onto it, and it'll end up subduing it a little bit. It makes it look almost completely gone when you first put it down on there, but once it dries, it brightens back up a little bit. So I'm just going to go over all of the areas that we just put orange down on with rubbing alcohol, and that should dry up pretty quickly, and we'll have our corrosion part done, and this will be sort of a double, you know, how to use pigments, and these steps work just fine for real pigments too, not just the ones that I made in the previous video. So hope you guys find this stuff useful. We'll go ahead and put the rest of this down and let this dry, and I'll be back in a sec. So now we've got everything a touch more subdued than it was before. So you can see we've got the rust sort of confined to all the cracks and crevices where water might sit or pool and cause these types of corrosions. Now what this doesn't give us is some flat surface corrosion, but for now I think this is probably as much as we're going to do. I feel like this is a pretty good demonstration of how to use these powders. I gotta say, on tanks, it's going to be difficult to use it if you want to do the entire tank, like I am. It's going to take a lot more work to make it look natural. On miniatures, though, like the one that I keep pulling out here, just my example one, I feel like it's much easier to do some corrosion work because there's lots of detail in such a small area, and little bits here and there really set it off. It's very easy to get just the right amount on a small miniature, whereas on this large tank we have so many wide open flat surfaces. Now, this is not going to be the case on, say, one of the new Land Raiders that's just covered in detail, but this old Rogue Trader Land Raider is definitely going to have lots of open space and a lack of detail. So it's going to be kind of a trick for me to get this to look right. What I may end up doing is adding some more dry brushing to it. Just go back over it with a fairly heavy dry brushing of bolt gun metal or maybe chainmail, just so that it'll really highlight the worn areas where rust may be scraped off all the way down to new fresh metal. So all the high points, like this area around here, parts of this, some of the rivets here, probably areas around the track where rocks and debris are being flung off of the treads. So that's going to be my next step, but for right now this is the end of this video, and I will show you guys more as I progress with this and in other videos. If you haven't subscribed at this point, please do. Feel free to leave comments, and please remember to rate. Thank you.